If you're on a budget looking to start a budget home gym, I think this may just be the best budget banger. I need another B word. Big budget banger and squat rack there is. Seriously, I think this is probably my recommendation if you're on a budget and looking for a squat rack. Hey guys, this is Coop from the Budget Gym Co-op. Today we're reviewing this. This is the Eonfit Omni, specifically the E2 Rack. They have both the E1 and the E3 as well. Rest in peace to the number 4. I think they have an E5 as well. I have been searching the world over for the best budget rack for people that want a functional trainer but are on more of an ultra budget. You can spend an insane amount. In fact, right behind the camera, I have Rogue's FM trainer, I have Reps Eris 2.0, I have ATX, Vesta, Fringe Sport Dane, all those great racks, but most of those are out of the price point for those of you that are really on a tight budget but still want to lift. In fact, just the other day I was at church and my buddy was like, Coop, I'm looking for a squat rack. I can't afford the really expensive ones. What do you recommend? And this is the one I recommended. A lot of my friends watch this channel, so I can't really recommend stuff. Then they come to me and they're like, Coop, you recommend this and it sucks because there's real life ramifications. But the E2 Omni takes some things from racks that are in a similar price point, oftentimes actually more expensive, but then adds some features and details that I don't think you find typically at this price point. First off, this is using a typical, within this price point, 2x2 upright of 14 gauge steel. The ideal is a 3x3 rack with 1-inch holes or 5/8-inch holes. The reason being, you just have a crazy amount of versatility and modularity, but those get a lot more expensive. So if you're in a 500 or sub 500 price point, you're probably gonna have to go with a 2x2 upright, which I think is just fine. Actually, I think it's better than a lot of the 2x3 uprights from companies say like Major Ludi, and the reason being is you're gonna be able to have more attachments for more companies to use. The frame is a standard frame. One thing about it that is kind of nice is they do have 1-inch holes on the front. This is a 14 gauge rack. They say it's 1,500 pound weight capacity. Essentially what that means is it's gonna be able to hold whatever weight you want. We've tested so many of these 14 gauge racks with a lot of weight, dropped 800 pounds on spotter arms on some of them. They're gonna survive. One thing about this though that I like quite a bit is actually the laser cut numbers. A lot of these have no laser cut numbers anywhere. Adding laser cut numbers increases expense, especially if you put them on every hole. So what I often say is like, why not just put them on every 5 or every couple holes? And that's exactly what they did. So they've got them every 5, 15, 10, 5. That way you can find generally where you are when you're putting attachments on and when you're operating the trolley. Now, this comes with a lot of different attachments, whether it's dip handles, half safety spotter arms, low row plates, lat pull down bars, single tricep bars, also tricep ropes. So there's a lot that comes included where a lot of racks you have to buy that a la carte and separate. The other thing, and I think the most unique and significant thing about this is this arm right here. This, my friends, is the freemotion swivel arm. Now, one thing I will say about this that happened is Sam actually earlier was trying to move this while there's weight loaded. Well, the cables still have tension on them. As you can see, this trolley here, there's some gap here, even though we have the cables all the way extended out. Over time, they should loosen, so it won't be as big of a deal. But if you release this while it has tension, you're probably gonna get hurt. That's exactly what happened to Sam. These arms have 360 degrees rotation. The reason that's nice is because it allows you to do movements that ordinarily on a rack like this, you may be limited to. Also allows you to go lower with your cable travel or higher with your cable travel than what you would able to do ordinarily because it's got a free motion type arm. So the way that this works, it's actually 360 degree swivel. They have it so it goes in and out with 4 different holes. So you can go all the way inside or all the way out here, but also allows you to have a 360 degree rotation right here. Also on the front, so 360 degree rotation right here, and it's actually on a bearing, which I'm kind of surprised at this price point. I just thought it'd be metal on metal. Pretty nice that they have that there. And then this rotates 360 degrees as well. So you can move it all the way out, to the outside if you want. So you're able to get about another foot extension. They are shorter than what you'd find with, say, a free motion dual cable cross, obviously. And I expect a lot of this style to come out more from companies. We've reviewed the GetRx Tornado arms over on Garage Gym Reviews. They're great arms and make sense for a more expensive rack, but this accomplishes a lot of what those do at a much cheaper price point. But you can also extend this all the way up, which means if you take this to the very top of the trolley, suddenly you've got extra height for things like lat pull downs, or if you're really tall, tricep extensions, those sorts of things. Or you can extend out further from the rack, something that a lot of these functional trainers that are tied up against the rack, doing things like tricep extensions, you kind of end up hitting the uprights and things like this. This, you're further away from the rack, feels much better. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm gonna mention this on all these reviews until the companies start doing it, because I don't think it's gonna cost that much more. I wanna have numbers on the holes. I wanna be able to tell we have numbers on the side here. Just put like a few, like coordinates, like north, south, east, west, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, so you can know exactly where you have it. I think it'd be very beneficial for somebody. But one thing I wanna call out as a positive, there's things on this that are just kind of hidden that you don't even know about, that you don't even realize, that are actually pretty thoughtful for a budget rack. One of those are these 2 bar holders on the back sides. So they've got 2 just barbell hangers hanging out here that you can add bars, and it's included in the rack. It's nice. Honestly, the price point for all this with the arms, it's really good. The resistance though is coming from this. This is the plate loadable trolley. We see this on a lot of different racks. One thing that's actually pretty smart about the way they design this rack is rather than this sitting farther off the back where you're having more space taken up, they put it right in line with the back uprights. It has positives and negatives. The positives is the fact that you can put this pretty much all the way against the wall and put plates on, and you're still very compact. You're not taking up a ton of extra space. The downside is the fact that you can only have so long a weight plate post on the trolley, so you can only have so much because you have to leave room to put plates on, which means if you're using bumper plates, like a lot of people on budget are, because bumper plates are now oftentimes cheaper than iron, that means you don't have a ton of space to load up a lot of weight. Now I will say the max resistance capacity that I've been told from Eonfit that they've tested it is 330 pounds. That does leave you, if you use one side, makes it a 2-to-1 ratio. So that means your max weight on one arm is 165 pounds. Combine them, you can get 330. It actually supposedly, ours didn't, I don't know why, but online, it says it comes with a lat pull down bar with 2 hooks. That means you could have a max 330 pound on a lat pull down on a sub $500 rack. That's pretty crazy. Now, as far as like durability and strength, they do say it's rated for, you know, the 1,200, 1,500 pounds. I will say one of the things that I was worried about was this arm. Like, is this something that's gonna break? Just to show you, I can hang on this and do pull-ups, still take it off and rotate it around. So I think for the price point, the durability of this is gonna be fine. The swivel's pretty good as well. You're gonna get by with the movements that you're doing. And if you combine them, you can actually go really heavy. Or for a lot of movements, 165 pounds on each side is gonna be just fine. You just have to make sure you have thin enough plates that you can actually load the trolley with that. Then to one of the things that I'd actually say you may wanna upgrade over time, and that is the pulleys. The pulleys are a nylon pulley, which I fully expect at this price point. It would be nice if they offer an upgrade for aluminum pulleys. The reason being, these pulleys are not just, you know, any standard nylon pulley, these are a very cheap nylon pulley. It's actually a machine that's not very smooth. You can hear it rubbing. The bearings aren't that great either. Just over time, if something is gonna fail on this, in my opinion, it's probably gonna be these bearings. So my recommendation would be replace the pulleys. The other thing you could technically do, if you want like just a little bit more premium experience, is gonna be to replace these knobs. These plastic knobs are very annoying. They do allow you to lock them in, but you can replace these caps with aluminum caps, and then you basically are able to have honestly a pretty premium feeling rack at a pretty cheap price point. Now to the accessories they include. The accessories they include, and I've seen this more and more in the budget category, a lot of these companies are including a lot of accessories because they're not that expensive, you might as well throw them all in. These are the J-cups. The J-cups do have a plastic, so you're gonna protect your barbell knurling, and they go in quite simply. They're gonna be able to hold the weight you want. And I actually like the design because when you roll out of the rack, you're not having to like lift off something, it's not too bad. Then dip handles. The dip handles are angled, they're on individual posts. They're pretty thin. I do wish they were thicker, but they do allow you to do it in either way, whether you want to basically have your shoulders open or more closed facing this way. They feel pretty comfortable, and you can do weighted dips on them, no problem. The pull-up bar, I don't like the pull-up bar that much. The reason being is the bar is extremely thin. Why they didn't go with the same diameter as what they have on the dip handles, I don't know. It's less than 28 millimeters. It's very thin. So I don't even have very big hands. If you have big hands, it's probably gonna be pretty annoying. But I do like that they made it a multi-grip bar. So you have the wide grip, but you also have multi-neutral grip options. While I'm up here, another thing, they added this ring, so you can add TRX straps or gymnastic straps, something like that, very simply. Just a nice addition that they're thinking through. Then some others, have safety spotters come standard, which is very nice. You gotta lift with safety spotters. Low row plate that folds down. So when you're not using it, you can fold it down. Then when you're ready, fold it down. You can bring this down. This is a problem though, I've noticed. If you're wanting to use your special arm here for low rows, if you notice it's offset to the outside and it's just kind of in your way, you can pull this up and then you can basically row from that angle. What I'd recommend probably for a lot of you is to just get a bench and have some sort of low row plate on your bench or something like that, so you're not rowing on the floor, because this being a little offset, it's just kind of annoying. It does come with a landmine attachment and actually comes with a T-bar row handle, at least it says on their site. Mine didn't include it. Lastly, like one small critique that I think they could improve on, they have all these holes on the side that allow your trolley to go up and down. One of the problems though, they have this top hole, but because this cross member is in the way, you can't even use the top hole. The highest hole is actually that one. So you're not able to even use that top one. So you're limited on how high up you can go. Pretty annoying. I just think it's something they didn't think through. So adjusting that a little bit further down or moving the cross member higher up, I think would actually be very beneficial for people because you get more height, especially for lat pull downs or other cable extensions you want to do. Okay, so when you look at this in comparison to other racks that are on the market, what really stands out is both price point and these arms. If you don't care about these arms, you may be able to go with a different company and get it cheaper. In fact, Eonfit actually sells it without these arms for cheaper. The arms they sell are these, which are actually not that bad, a nice swivel trolley and nice pop pin, but I do think that these arms are superior. A lot of people will find benefit from them. But when you look at them versus Ritfit, GMWD, Makolo, and Major Ludi, this is almost always cheaper than those and also has the functionality of the arm, which I haven't seen yet on those other companies. Because of that, if you're on a budget and you're around that $500 price point, this fluctuates. I've seen it as low, I think one time it's $350, all the way up to like $650. It goes up and down, but if you're around the $500 price point and you're like, Coop, what rack would you recommend to a friend on that price point that also wants the ability to have some cable functions? This is the one. For now, I'm sure others will come out, but right now, as of this video, this is my recommendation. For a majority of users that are just trying to get in, lift, get fit, get healthier, get bigger, stronger, faster, this is a great rack for that. All right, have you used the Eonfit? Let me know in the comments if you like it. Let me know if you don't like it. It's Coop from the Co-op. See you next time. Peace.